Ukrainian armor destroys Russia's T-90M column in Daetsk, triggering $60 million collapse. In one of the most dramatic armored clashes of the year, Ukraine's high-speed kill chain shattered Russia's elite T-90M column and triggered more than $60 million in losses before Moscow could react. Drones, Abrams tanks, Bradleys, and Leopard systems worked together as a single strike network, turning minutes of coordination into devastating battlefield dominance. What unfolded wasn't just another frontline fight. It was a clear demonstration that speed, data, and precision now outweigh raw armor. With Russian defenses collapsing across Daetsk, the battle exposed a new era of warfare taking shape. Now, let's go back to where it all began today. Today at 7:05 a.m., Ukrainian armored units delivered one of the most punishing blows in the Daetsk sector, wiping out a wave of Russian vehicles, including at least one T-90M main battle tank valued at $4.50 million, and adding to Russia's rapidly growing armored losses, now estimated by independent trackers at more than $2 billion in destroyed tanks in 2025 alone. This engagement was not a routine clash. It reflected a deeper transformation in modern warfare, where speed, data, and real-time coordination replaced the old doctrine of massed steel moving blindly into fire. By early morning, Ukrainian commanders positioned M1 Abrams tanks, M2 Bradley fighting vehicles, and aerial scouts along the forward line near the Donetsk sector. Drones hovered above the battered landscape, sending precise coordinates of Russian movements to armored crews below. Because of these real-time feeds, Ukrainian units understood exactly which defensive points held machine gunners, where anti-tank teams hid, and how Russian troops shifted between trenches. Minutes later, the armored push began. As the Abrams advanced, its engine roared across mud-soaked terrain, while drone operators streamed updated visuals directly to the crew's screens. These video feeds guided the tank's targeting as the turret rotated toward a fortified building serving as a Russian command post. The first 120mm round hit the upper floor, blowing out concrete and burying radios and maps in rubble. A second shot followed immediately, collapsing the central support beam and trapping several Russian personnel inside. The precision of these strikes severed Russian coordination within seconds, forcing panicked chatter over handheld radios that soon went silent. The Abrams effectively became a mobile artillery platform, using drone-guided accuracy to destroy hardened points that previously required hours of shelling. This method saved time, removed guesswork, and preserved ammunition for later phases of the advance. On the flank, the M2 Bradley vehicles executed synchronized movements to shield the Abrams from anti-tank threats. The Bradley's lighter frame allowed quick adjustments around broken walls and narrow alleys, while its 25mm Bushmaster chain gun fired suppressive bursts at Russian infantry attempting to reposition. Each burst tore through improvised defenses, keeping enemy fighters pinned long enough for Ukrainian troops to close in. Ukrainian infantry followed behind in coordinated teams, using the Bradley's cover to cross dangerous gaps between collapsed houses. Soldiers moved room to room, clearing out surviving defenders, collecting abandoned rifles, and gathering documents left behind in haste. The combination of armored firepower and infantry precision gradually unraveled Russian positions that once appeared deeply entrenched. By 9 a.m., Ukrainian forces had shattered the defensive layout, forcing Russian units to scatter towards nearby tree lines or ditches. Drones tracked their movements, marking retreat paths and potential ambush sites. The Bradley crews used this information to adjust firing angles, pushing Russian remnants further from the village perimeter and preventing counterattacks from coalescing. This coordinated attack demonstrated why Ukrainian armored teams now outperform Russian counterparts. They operate as a network. Every tank, every gunner, every drone pilot works inside a single, fast kill chain. Because this speed leaves little room for Russian reaction, the outcome becomes almost inevitable. The second phase began when 3 Bradley vehicles from the 47th Brigade launched a rapid assault supported by smokescreens. Grey plumes billowed behind them, obscuring their path across open fields. Drivers held speeds near 60 km/h, despite uneven ground, following routes charted earlier by airborne scouts. These routes bypassed ditches and wire obstacles designed to slow vehicles. As the Bradleys approached the outskirts of the occupied village, their Bushmaster guns opened fire in timed bursts. Wooden barriers and thin metal shields splintered instantly, and Russian soldiers ducked behind walls or fled through side alleys. The Bradleys maintained pressure, clearing paths for infantry, advancing in tight formation behind them. In less than 5 minutes, Ukrainian troops secured the first row of houses. Grenades tossed through doorways cleared remaining pockets of resistance, while armored vehicles circled to block potential escape routes. During the withdrawal phase, Bradley crews executed leapfrog maneuvers, each vehicle covering the next as they reversed through narrow streets. Their turrets remained trained on threats behind them, preventing Russian fighters from pursuing. This high-speed engagement lasted exactly 4 minutes and 12 seconds, according to Defense Express. The tempo overwhelmed Russian forces, who were unprepared for such swift coordination. Ukrainian sources estimated multi-million-dollar losses on the Russian side, another indicator of how inexpensive drones and agile vehicles can break through heavier enemy lines. Once the village center was secured, scouts identified an underground ammunition depot beneath Daetsk using drone-mounted infrared sensors. Coordinates were relayed to M777 howitzer crews positioned miles away. The first artillery shell plunged into the depot's entrance, igniting secondary explosions that erupted like a volcano from below ground. Flames shot upward, smoke blanketed the area. Follow-up shells ensured total destruction, cutting off a critical supply point. Capitalizing on the chaos, 2 Leopard 2 tanks surged from concealed woodland positions. Their advance shook the ground as they moved forward with their 120mm guns ready. One Leopard took a hit from a hidden gun emplacement, sparking flames along its hull. But the tank's automatic fire suppression system activated instantly. The crew reversed smoothly to safety without abandoning the vehicle. Meanwhile, the second Leopard targeted a Russian command post nearby. Its APFSDS round pierced reinforced barriers and detonated inside the structure, collapsing it in a swirl of concrete and dust. The destruction severed communications between Russian units, leaving them disoriented and prompting an uncoordinated retreat. Ukrainian troops exploited this breakdown, sweeping through terrain scattered with abandoned shells and equipment. Over 40 tons of artillery rounds were recovered from the ruined depot and surrounding positions, strengthening Ukrainian supply lines while weakening Russian firepower. As armored teams consolidated control, an M2 Bradley set up an ambush near Avdiivka. Hidden inside a crumbling structure, the vehicle waited as a Russian tank bombarded Ukrainian trenches nearby. When the Russian tank repositioned and exposed its vulnerable side, the Bradley fired a rapid burst. The 25mm rounds struck weak plating, igniting the ammunition inside and launching the turret skyward in a blazing eruption. The Russian vehicle turned into a burning wreck, and its destruction allowed Ukrainian infantry to withdraw safely from the kill zone. Drone footage revealed how the Bradley advanced only 300 meters in 6 minutes, yet completely flipped the local balance of power. This action saved pinned Ukrainian units and reinforced the doctrine of ambush-based armored support in urban combat. Later in the day, FPV drones struck Russian T-90M tanks near Chasiv Yar and Donetsk area. Pilots navigated these drones through low terrain to strike exposed ammunition hatches. One drone pierced the side plating of a moving T-90M, igniting fuel lines and stopping the vehicle. Russian crew members attempted to escape, but were overtaken by flames inside the cabin. Other strikes targeted engines, then turrets, causing full ammunition detonations that scattered debris across the landscape. Russian support units hesitated to approach damaged tanks because drone pilots often circled back for follow-up attacks. This hesitation created openings for Ukrainian ground forces to advance or reposition. In another incident, a Russian tank rolled into a minefield and triggered an explosion beneath its chassis. Because T-series tanks store ammunition beneath the crew floor for quick loading, the blast ignited rounds in rapid succession. The turret spun violently, The hull split open, and the tank became a burning obstacle, blocking the route for other Russian vehicles. Across every engagement, one theme remained constant: speed overcame armor. Ukrainian units relied on real-time data, drone reconnaissance, agile armored vehicles, and targeted fire to neutralize heavier Russian assets. The battlefield is evolving into a contest where lightweight, networked systems beat massive, slow-moving steel. Research from FOI Memo 8897 estimates that FPV drones account for roughly 65% of Russian tank losses up to early 2025. From Daetsk to Zaporizhzhia, Ukrainian forces use this advantage to keep Russia reactive rather than proactive, forcing constant adjustments to defensive layouts and armored doctrine. Today's operation showed how Abrams tanks, Bradley vehicles, Leopard systems, M777 artillery, and FPV drones function not as separate tools, but as interconnected nodes inside a living kill chain. This network turns seconds into decisive moments, and transforms small advances into major territorial gains. Yet the shift comes with new challenges. Russia is adapting with drone defense grids, upgraded armor plating, and electronic jammers intended to blind incoming drones. Each Ukrainian innovation triggers a Russian response, and the conflict evolves into a race of algorithms, reaction times, and battlefield adaptation. Still, Ukraine's performance in Daetsk today delivered a clear result. Russian forces lost ground, lost coordination, and suffered equipment destruction exceeding an estimated $60 million in a single morning. Ukrainian lines held firm, supply routes remained intact, and Western-provided systems again demonstrated resilience and tactical value. As evening settles across the Daetsk front, one question lingers. Will the future of warfare belong to those who move faster, or those who strike heavier?